into the well.
Girl, you smell good. Did you take a bath in rainbows and cupcakes?
How good was Adventure Time Season 2? Season 1 of Adventure Time really just felt like it was establishing the world and building up the characters, which is what a first season of a show is supposed to do, but Season 2 took all of those elements and just went wild with them, to be honest. They just did so many different plot lines that were all so unique and so interesting that it made the show feel like what it was supposed to be. We got a lot more stuff with Marceline's character. Princess Bubblegum started to lean from not being so one-dimensional to expanding her character and her relationship with Finn a little bit more, as well as the broship between Finn and Jake actually feeling real. You could connect to it and you could like it. All of the characters felt like they were slowly being fledged into the way that they would behave for the rest of the series. So character-wise, love this season, and we just got so many great things from this season. Solving mysteries, going to different dimensions, having epic battles. There's a lot to like with this season, but with a lot to like, there is also some stuff that I would consider to be bad, which is why I'm going to be looking at every single aspect of every single episode, discussing what I liked, what I didn't like, what I would have changed, stuff like that, and determining if Season 2 was actually good. And if you like videos just like this and you're a regular show fan at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to be cosplaying as Muscle Man, doing a hot dog eating contest and singing Starla. And if you want a place where you could hang out, share your favorite shows, movies, games, give me video ideas, give me hot takes, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's discuss every single episode of Adventure Time Season 2. The first episode of Adventure Time Season 2 is It Came from the Nightosphere, and I think it's probably one of the best choices you could possibly have to open up a brand new season of Adventure Time. Because Adventure Time Season 1, yes, it did have some lore elements, but it was kind of lacking in expanding its characters, so what better way to start off Season 2 than a deep dive into something about Marceline, Marceline's past, and her relationship with her father. I adore the beginning of this episode with Finn and Marceline just beatboxing, just making music together, and then Marceline's all like, "Daddy! Why did you eat my fries? I bought them." And they very sad and tragic song about how Marceline's fries were eaten by her father on a sad, dark, and desolate night. It's tragic, it's heartbreaking, and this makes Finn be all like, "Well, why don't you want to see your dad?" And then Marceline's like, "Me and my dad don't really get along there, Finn." She's not Southern. I don't know why I did that. "We don't get along, Finn." And she like, "Velos comes con and scon spiritum," like says how to summon him. And Finn, hearing all this, just dumps the milk, draws the really weird picture, and summons the father into the land. And that's when we meet Hunson Abadir for the very first time.
Is this kid your evil servant?
I'm not evil, Marceline's dad. I'm super good.
Super good.
And I gotta say, I love his personality. He's like chaotically evil. I don't know if that's how you would really describe him. He's just very chaotic, but also well put together at the same time, but also willing to kill you all in the same breath. And I don't know, I'm drawn to it. I think it's great. He immediately starts trying to kill Finn. Marceline stops this, and then it just kind of feels like that angsty, like daughter-dad relationship where it's like, "Ugh, get out of my room, Dad." That's kind of the vibe that their relationship has a little bit. So her dad leaves to go and suck souls, and Marceline doesn't really want to do with it, but he takes Marceline's bass guitar, so she's kind of forced to confront it, and we just get a bunch of scenes with Hunson Abadir just going across the land, and one of them has always stuck in my memory anytime I think about this episode, where he just approaches this little cloud dude, and I feel so bad where he's just talking to him, and the cloud dude's all like, "Oh, my number one fear is getting my soul sucked. That's like my number one fear." And then Hunson Abadir's just like, "Well, let me show you something," and just beats him over the head with the bass guitar and then says, "Are you happy to be alive?" And then the thing's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And then he just sucks his soul.
Close your eyes.
Okay. You could have killed me.
But I didn't. So, this next part will be all the more horrifying.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff. That was not expected. It's very interesting to just see this poor little cloud dude get brutalized in such horrible ways. And then I also really love the scene where Hunson Abadir goes up to Gunther, the little penguin, and is just like, "You are by far the most evil being I have ever encountered." And he's about to suck his soul, and he just slaps him.
No! You can't have my soul! I don't even... Look, just get in here.
That was pretty funny. And it all culminates at the end of the episode where Marceline and Finn confront him again. Finn is trying to battle him, and he just can't do anything to Hudson Abadir because he's a primordial being. You just can't attack that guy. And so Finn just, using his wits, is all like, oh, Daddy, why did you eat my fries? He just starts playing Marceline's song, and then Hudson Abadir is all like, oh, Marceline, I'm sorry I ate your fries. They actually seem to be bonding and connecting, and then Finn just sucks him back down into the portal.
I'll see you in the Nightosphere, you sick freak.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Honestly, a pretty great opening to the season. I couldn't do it any better. I thought Hudson Abadir was a great character. I liked exploring Marceline a little bit, even though we didn't really get any past stuff or any lore stuff with him. It's nice to see a different side of Marceline, because Marceline was one of the best things to come out of season 1, because she was obviously more than one-dimensional. There were so many layers to her character, with her like pretending to be evil but not evil just to troll Finn. I'm glad we explored Marceline's character in the first episode, and we got a little bit of an insight into it. I think Finn was pretty great in this episode too. Just lots of good stuff. I enjoyed it for the most part. Good episode, good way to start, and obviously because I haven't ranked any of the other episodes yet, this one's going to be at the number 1 spot. Good start.
What's with that pocket on your shirt?
Oh, Jake's in here. Sup, Jake?
I don't know what to do without you.
And episode 2 of season 2 is the episode The Eyes, and this is by far such a hilarious episode. I think it's got to be one of the funniest in season 2, because, I mean, the horse is so hilarious. His design is so funny. All of the scenes with it. The episode follows the plotline of Finn and Jake just trying to go to bed, and there's this weird horse that is just watching them up on this hill, and it has these strange eyes and just goes like, yeah, it's just a very weird looking horse.
Why is that horse staring at us?
And they can't handle this thing just constantly watching them, which leads to a lot of really funny scenes, especially the one that has been made into like a bunch of memes where it's just Jake really tired. I'm tired, Finn. Let's kill the horse. I really like that scene. It's hilarious.
Dude, let's kill the horse.
What?
I'm so tired, Finn.
No, man, we're not killing the horse.
And then the horse just has this amazing scene where they just keep trying to get rid of it. They push it over the hill, and they think, okay, it's going to be gone now because Jake picked it up, put it way far away. They're going to lie down into bed, and the horse just falls through the ceiling.
Oh, good night, buddy.
Good night, buddy.
It's in our house now.
Oh, God. Before, like, if you've never seen this episode, like, I wish I could go back and have never had watched Adventure Time and watch it for the first time, because, God, all this stuff would make me laugh so much. It's just so damn funny. The horse falls through the ceiling, and they're just sick of it, so Finn walks up, kicks the horse, and that is when Ice King goes out of him. And apparently Ice King was spying on them this entire time, and he won't tell them why he was doing this. He's not giving any rhyme, any reason. And which leads to a brawl with Ice King. The fight is pretty decent. I enjoy it. Ice King does this thing where he tries to summon like a bunch of ice, like from the nearby surroundings, and just like 6 ice cubes fly at them.
Using his ice powers. Ow, ouch.
Yeah, that was good. That was all right. And then I like this because I like the ending a lot, because we also get some more characterization for Ice King, just diving a little bit deeper into his story and how he was only watching them, not for maniacal reasons, not to be evil. He just wanted to learn to be happy. He sees them being happy all the time, and he just wanted a taste of that, just a little savor, and he needs it. And it's just very sad. And at the end of the episode, Finn and Jake just fall asleep under Ice King's arms, and Ice King goes to bed too. It's good stuff. I was okay with it. I really like the ending. I think this episode is overall really hilarious, but is it better than It Came from the Nightosphere? That is the debate. That is the debate that I am having right now. Honestly, yeah. It Came from the Nightosphere is really good for Marceline and her dad's stuff, and I really like her dad's personality, but I still think that it's slightly better than that in terms of comedy. I think it's a hilarious episode. So far, The Eyes number 1, It Came from the Nightosphere number 2.
I don't know where to put my hands.
The next episode we're going to be taking a look at, episode 3, is Loyalty to the King. A Ice King villain episode, and is definitely one of the episodes where he's being a lot more villainous. There's not really a scene where you necessarily feel bad for him, except maybe at the beginning where he's just like touching his beard and being like, oh, look at this old face, this old, my God. And so he decides to shave off his beard, not off of his beard. He decides to shave off his beard, and it makes him look all snazzy, all sexy with that blue long nose and those chiseled features. The ladies can't recognize that he used to be Ice King, so they start falling in love with him. I love this scene where he's just sitting in the park after working out, and Slime Princess comes up to him and is like, hello, oh, you're so handsome. And Ice King's response is someone paying you to do this? Man.
Usually my looks put people off. Is someone paying you to do this?
Poor guy. I mean, not poor guy because he kidnaps and tries to use up women, but like, in another world, I would feel very bad for him, I guess. So this leads to all the princesses finding out about this, and they all want to date Ice King, who is now going by the alias Nice King. They want him so bad. So much so that they're literally willing to sit in a prison. It kind of looks like a play place where you could like climb up on there, but they're all willing to sit in a prison. Finn and Jake hear about this, and they want to become the Nice Knights, which leads to a lot of pretty good scenes. The best one, I think, is when Lumpy Space Princess is like trying to meet with the Nice King, and he's just like, I like smooth princesses, smooth. And so Lumpy Space Princess is like, oh, I can be smooth. Finn, punch me so I can be smooth. And so Lumpy Space Princess just starts punching herself because obviously Finn declines this offer, and she just turns around.
How's that? Better? No, I don't like her.
Yeah, thought that was pretty funny. Ice King still doesn't want her, though. He starts to grow his beard back, so he orders Finn and Jake to go to his castle to get his beard trimmer. And they get there, and they realize that all of his beard has been shaved from the floor when they start messing around with it. And they're like, the Nice King is the Ice King! And so they start rushing over there. They show up with his beard, and leads to a bit of a brawl. Just not too much, though. They just run up there. They have to fight through a bunch of princesses. And they get up there. They punch Ice King out the window. He can't fly. They just glue his beard to his face, and it's revealed that Ice King is in fact Ice King.
Eh? Ladies, I can shave it off again. And when you get fat, I'll grow it back.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent episode. I think this is one of the better Ice King villain episodes, because the entire time it isn't trying to paint Ice King as being like, oh, I should feel bad for this guy. No, it's just kind of a generic, like, one-dimensional Ice King villain episode, but I think it's good. I think it's funny. I think it's got a little bit of good elements here and there. I really like, all the princess interactions with Ice King when they don't think that he's a villain. I think those are good. In terms of ranking, probably bottom of the list so far. I don't think it's better than It Came from the Nightosphere or The Eyes, but that doesn't mean it's a bad episode. I still think it's very good.
Now that's what I call a close shave.
I've been trying to lay my head down.
And then we got the episode Blood Under the Skin, and this one isn't as good to me. I mean, it has a couple of good moments in it, but overall it's just kind of whatever. I mean, it's okay. It's a good episode, but it's definitely not better than any of the ones I've discussed before. The episode follows how Finn gets a like little splinter, so he goes to get some armor so that he could look, and Sir Slicer shows up and he just looks so... Yeah,
Without full body armor, you're weak. You do not look.
And he just starts roasting Finn and following a 12-year-old around all day. That's basically his entire desire, is just to follow Finn around and roast him. And I really like the fact that the end of the episode calls that out, but I'll get to that later. So he's just following Finn around, and Finn is trying to go get the armor of oh my god, top of the head. The armor of Zeldron, yeah, and you got to do all these trials that are super embarrassing, like walking through a forest of naked people, getting held by this baby, and every time Sir Slicer shows up, the one moment that I think is really funny, though, is when he hires a bard, and the bard just shows up and is like, "He's Finn the blushing baby, his cheeks are bright and red, make sure you do something to your something before you go to bed," something like that.
He's Finn the blushing baby. His cheeks are bright and red. Be sure to make fun of him before you go to bed.
Yeah, really funny stuff. I thought that was a good moment in the episode. But other than that, it's just a bunch of trials. They eventually get to this cave where this is the one part of the episode that I was truly laughing the entire time. I remember laughing so much when I was a kid because it's just this ghost. And he's like, "Oh, hello there. Have you heard of drop ball?"
Here, let me show ya. 1 point.
And it's just a game where you like throw a ball on the ground and then just pick it up with your ass cheeks. And however many times you could pick it up with your cheeks is how many points you get. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Finn and Jake just go around this guy and they find the armor of Zeldron, and Finn doesn't want to wear it because it looks like lady armor and he's not into that. So he doesn't want to wear it. So Jake puts it on and the ghost gets very angry because Finn wasn't watching his lesson and he's about to kill them all. But Jake is all like, "Ow, I'm your mother."
Huh?
Mama?
Yeah.
"Oh," because he's wearing the woman clothes, and tells the ghost to go outside, and then the ghost just fucking dies. He just dies. Poor guy, he just wanted to pick things up with his ass cheeks. Actually, I don't think he dies. I'm just doing this all at the top of my head. I think he becomes a normal spirit after that. I don't know, whatever. Sir Slicer comes into the cave and he's trying to roast them again, and Finn actually points out that you're the one that has been following around a 12-year-old all day, you weirdo. He falls off his armor and he is not looking.
Then all of you.
Come over here and say that to my fist.
Okay, I will.
So, yeah, it's a pretty okay episode. I don't think it's better than any of the ones I've discussed before, so it's going at the bottom. But there are a couple of moments that make me still think of that as good. I would in no way say that this is a bad episode.
I'm writing this at 3 a.m. Need the world to see that I've been the
Go sit in the corner and think about your life.
The next episode that we got is Slow Love, baby. I love this episode so much. I've seen a lot of people dislike it, but I think it's so funny. I love the beginning where Finn and Jake are just hanging out, and then Snorlock the slug, or he thinks he's a snail at this time, just bursts into the house just like, and just starts wreaking havoc, and just Jake grabs some salt and he's about to use the salt on him, and he's just like, "Salt!"
But I heard you guys were heroes.
Yeah, it's really funny, and it turns out he just wants help from them because they're heroes, and he needs to find a woman. He wants a woman so badly. And I really like this training course that Jake and Finn give him, where Jake just, like, shapeshifts into a really buff snail, and is just like, "Girl, you smell good. Did you take a bath in rainbows and cupcakes?"
Girl, you smell good. Did you take a bath in rainbows and cupcakes?
It's so funny, bro. God, it's a hilarious episode. It's genuinely so funny. And then Snorlock, he starts going up to a bunch of different snail women, and it goes really bad. He walks up to this one and he's like, girl, did you take a bath?"
I have to go.
Did you take a bath?
Don't ever talk to me again.
But he doesn't say any other line. He's just like, "Did you take a bath? You smell good. You could smell me." Yeah. It's so funny. And eventually they show him that he should just start looking really cool, so he starts spitting some swords and beatboxing, and this attracts all of the snails at him, and they all just start voluptuously twerking on him, just throwing hard ass all over him. And this leads to the house being destroyed because he's been using Finn and Jake's house as like a shell, and so Jake grabs the salt, uses the salt on Snorlock, and then he, obviously is in pain, and it's revealed that he is a slug, and then another lady turns out to be a slug, and they just start just making out with each other. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's a pretty funny episode. Do I think it's better? I think it's definitely better than Blood Under the Skin. I think it's more entertaining than Loyalty to the King. Man, that's rough. That's real rough. I think I'm gonna put it below It Came to the Nightosphere. I think that's a good spot for it. I don't think it's better than that episode or The Eyes, but I think it's still really hilarious and deserves to be decently high up there. I'm surprised this one gets any hate. It's so funny.
Best I can be, but I don't think.
And then we got the episode Power Animal, and we're coming up to the 2 episodes where I just dislike Jake's character because he's so overly stupid. He has some episodes just like this throughout the series, but in this one, he's just so unbelievably dumb that I just can't handle it sometimes. The beginning of the episode is focused on this party, and there's this weird party goer who is like the head of the gnomes, and he kidnaps Finn because Finn is revealed to be just a limitless amount of energy kid because he never stops going. So he kidnaps them in order to power this entire contraption that could like flip the entire earth around so the gnomes will be on top and Finn and everybody will be on the bottom. Yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, I don't know, is there like gnome racism? Because if they're allowed to come up to the surface, why don't they just do that? Why do they need to switch the world around? They could just like go and build like a nice home on the surface, no? Unless everybody's racist to the underdwellers. I have no idea. But either way, they kidnap him and Jake has to try to be useful and focus on things in order to try to get Finn back. And he's just so stupid the entire time. I will say I like when he like is about to go and get Finn and then he sees a dancing bug just shaking it all wrong and he's all like, let me show you how it's done. Yeah, I like that scene a lot. I thought that was great.
Let me show you how it's done.
Everything else was just kind of whatever though. Jake eventually meets up with the party god, and the party god gives him the power of 1,000,000 parties to go and save Finn. In the meantime, Finn is having a dream where he's all muscular and buff and he gets saved by Jake.
No more games. No more pajamas!
That was okay. And then Jake just saves him with the power of 1,000 party gods, and that's the episode. It's okay, I guess. I still think it's better than storytelling and Blood Under the Skin. I just don't really like how dumb Jake is. It feels like a really dumbed down version of Jake, and that's probably why I dislike it. So yeah.
Think I could stand to be where you don't see.
The next episode is Crystals Have Power, and I like this one a lot more than Power Animal because Jake is a little bit dumb in this episode, but he actually has good reason for being dumb because he's just so scared of hurting anybody, because at the beginning of the episode he's roughing around with Finn and he hurts him really bad. So Jake is now just confronted with the past feelings of his father and hurting Jermaine in a fight or something where he just doesn't want to hurt anybody ever again. And this is challenged when the crystals just open up and we're actually taken to the crystal dimension and we get to see Tree Trunks again. Yeah, you remember what happened to her, right?
Woo! How's it taste, Tree Trunks?
Yeah, how is it?
The traumatizing scene, yeah, in the Tree Trunks episode. Yeah, I can't believe they decided to rectify this an entire season later. They probably left so many small children just so shocked. But either way, Tree Trunks wants to kidnap Finn to make Finn his her lover for some reason, crystal lover. Yeah, pedophilia at its finest, TT. Pop off, I guess. Weirdo. But, so this leads to Jake having to try to confront all the crystal guards, but trying to do it in the nicest way possible, where it's just, you know, he like shapes up and he's like, in slow motion, just trying to like weaken him.
Stop it.
And we just get a lot of that for like a solid 6 minutes until Jake remembers that he's supposed to, you know, use his powers to hurt people for good and attack bad people. And so he actually does it. And then he kicks Tree Trunks in her big old belly and she coughs up the crystal apple and turns back into normal Tree Trunks and they all go home. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's probably better than Power Animal and Blood Under the Skin. But other than that, it's just kind of whatever. It's kind of a whatever episode. I liked looking into like lore with Jake and his father and stuff, and Jermaine. You get to see Jermaine and Joshua for the first time. That was cool. Some of the else stuff was pretty funny, but it's just kind of a whatever episode. The next episode we got here is the episode The Other Tarts. And this episode follows Finn and Jake carrying around the royal tarts, just this like dessert that is super important because the royal toad tartar can't do it anymore. So she gives these tarts to Finn and Jake that are supposed to be super valuable, and they have to be sent into the wastelands in order to get to the tart place. And she gives Cinnamon Buns these poison tarts, at least that's what we think. And so Finn and Jake are just trying to keep all these safe, and they just keep on getting mugged by a bunch of different people. They get mugged by some like homeless guys, they get mugged in a cave by a bunch of weird looking guys, and then finally this like little butterfly dude shows up with a gun and robs them as well to also steal the tarts. Yeah, so they pretty much lose all of their tarts, and they try to make it in time, and it turns out Cinnamon Bun had the tarts that were good the entire time, and so yay, Princess Bubblegum's head doesn't get chopped off, everything's good, it's all great, lovely stuff. Yeah, and then we get this really weird scene at the end where the tartar shows up, like the original guy, and he's just a super old like gingerbread guy, and he just gets really existential.
If sweetness can win, and it can, then I'll still be here tomorrow.
I don't know why they decided to do that. I guess it's kind of funny, but it's also weird. This episode was definitely just okay to me. I liked some of the scenes. It's really just Finn struggling a lot with feeling like he's a failure. I think one scene that is genuinely hilarious, probably the only scene that genuinely made me laugh in the episode, is when Princess Bubblegum is saying that Finn and Jake's tarts were the ones that were poisoned, and then it cuts to that butterfly from earlier, and he's just falling out of the sky, and he's just dead.
The poison tarts all along.
I thought that was funny. Everything else is just okay. A lot of Finn and Jake struggling. It's okay. It's just an okay episode. I'm definitely thinking probably below Crystals Have Power, but above Power Animal is a good spot for it. I think it's definitely okay. It's just kind of a weird one.
On sunny days I go out walking.
The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode Her Parents, and this episode focuses on Jake meeting Lady Rainicorn's parents from the Crystal Dimension, and because they're not used to a lot of the customs and they don't know that Jake is a dog, Jake has to pretend to be a unicorn in order to impress them, and Finn has to pretend to be a little slave boy. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know, it kind of just feels like a Finn torture episode for the most part. They just play a bunch of games that torture Finn, like using Finn as a catapult. They play this game where Finn just has to hold his breath and pretend he's getting annihilated with magic. Yeah, it's okay. And then at the end of the episode, Lady Rainicorn's parents literally start trying to eat Finn because they think that was the point of what Jake was going to make for food. Yeah, pretty wild. They just start ripping off his clothes and trying to eat him and start licking him and stuff. And Jake eventually has to confess that he's a dog, and Lady Rainicorn's parents are just ecstatic by this because it turns out that her dad got saved by a dog in the war, so they love dogs. Shocker. Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, they're eating soy people, which is said to taste exactly like human, and Finn takes a bite of it and he loves it. So canonically, Finn loves the taste of his own people and would probably eat a human being if it was, you know, one of his options. I'm just saying, he seemed to really like the flavor of it. This episode is okay, I guess. I honestly think it's leaning more to the bad side. I don't really care to meet Lady Rainicorn's parents, especially because they're just very like, hello. Oh, hi. Are you into unicorn games and traditions? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just okay. It's just Finn suffering the entire time. I'm honestly going to put this one above storytelling, almost at the bottom of the list, but I still think it's more entertaining than storytelling. It's just kind of a flat episode. None of it really hits to me.
I end up on a tree-lined street.
Now, the next episode we're going to be taking a look at is To Cut a Woman's Hair, and we were kind of in a low zone in terms of really good episodes, but I think we're finally getting the ball rolling, because this episode is hilarious. I love the beginning of it, where it's just this really sad old hag witch lady, and Finn and Jake are discussing if they want to help her or not, because she really just wants a lock of princess hair so that she could look beautiful, and so they talk it out, and they're just like, well, let's just make her feel comfortable in her own skin. So Jake pulls out that old JT dog zone, you know, that level of, charm and finesse, and he's like, girl, You don't even need a full head of hair to be beautiful. You're just so damn fine. And
Girl, if I didn't already have a GF, I'd be on you like butter on toast.
I don't mind if you have a GF.
She falls for this, and she wants Jake so bad, even saying she doesn't care that he has a girlfriend, just being willing to be such a home wrecker. And yeah, so Jake realizes that this is, not going to work out. So Finn says, "We can't help you, lady, unless you're in danger or someone's in danger. We can't help you." And so. Oh god, I love the plot of this episode. She just uses her magic, just lifts Jake off the ground, puts him on the ground, and then just sits on him and is just like, "Okay, now someone's in danger. And I'm going to suck him inside of my asshole if you don't go give me princess hair."
So maybe your friend doesn't get sucked into my bottomless bottom.
Get some princess hair!
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But hey, it makes it tense. The tension to the episode is now there. Jake is going to get sucked inside of this fat woman's ass if Finn doesn't hurry up. So yeah, that's a pretty good, high stakes episode, I'd say. Also, I really like the old hag. I'm pretty sure is voiced by the same person that voices Flapjack. Pretty sure I'm hearing that tone there. I liked that. I was all for that. And so we just get a bunch of different scenes of Finn going to a bunch of different people, trying to get their hair. He goes to Muscle Princess and just gets his ass beat because, he didn't ask very nicely.
If I had beautiful shiny hair, no one would look at my muscles. Come back when you want to get serious about loving me.
He tries to cut off some hair of LSP. He tries grave robbing, and none of it is even working. So he eventually has a spaghetti dinner with Princess Bubblegum, just throwing it down, having a great time, finally establishing that relationship that is very weird and very unhealthy between Finn and Princess Bubblegum, and Finn's obsession and simping and constant usage, and Princess Bubblegum's constant usage of Finn. I don't know, it's just a very weird and complicated relationship that I don't understand why they had to make that a thing. But either way, Finn struggles a lot, but gets Princess Bubblegum's hair, walks over to the lady. The lady doesn't want it because it's apparently just bubblegum, which is very true. She just eats it, and Finn doesn't know what to do. And then eventually he's all like, "Wait, does it need to be princess hair?" And she's all like, "No, just beautiful hair." And so he takes off his hat for the very first time in the series, and he reveals his golden, luscious locks, looking like just such a pretty boy. And yeah, he just cuts off his hair, gives it to the lady, and then the lady trips and just ends up being in more pain than before. Good karma for that lady. We hate her. But yeah, I thought the reveal of Finn's hair was really funny, and everything with Finn going around and just trying to get all the hair was also pretty entertaining, which makes for a really good episode. Also, just the concept and fear of Jake getting sucked inside of a woman's ass is not a plot that you would ever think would happen, but here we are, and it makes for a pretty good episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and rank this one. Honestly, above Loyalty to the King. I think it's pretty good. Not better than Slow Love in terms of making me laugh, which is why it's not any higher, but still very solid episode.
Look up at the gaps of sunlight. I miss.
The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is The Pods, and this is by far one of my favorite episodes of the season. It's just so good. The episode opens with this little frog dude who is guarding this magical chest full of these magical beans, and he's all like, "Young hero, won't you take on my quest for me?" And Finn's all like, "Sure, I'll do it." And then he just dies.
Nah, wait a second.
Nope, too late.
Yeah, so now Finn and Jake have to guard these beans that if they're ever planted, it will unleash two great things and one massive evil. And they decide, well, let's just plant them and then fight whatever is going to be evil to solve this and not have to guard beans for all of eternity because they want to go to the ice cream marathon. That is the entire point of today. So they plant the beans and, yeah, the first one grows, and it's just these little piggies, these little adorable piggies, all wearing some very nice outfits. There's a construction guy, a fancy guy, a doctor guy. They're all just really nice pigs.
Huh? Baby pigs dressed in silly costumes?
And they make them take a quiz to determine if they're evil, and the only thing that really comes back evil is they're allergic to ice cream. I guess that's not evil, but that's the one thing that stands out there. And then they just have some fun with the piggies. Yay, piggies! I'm all for the pigs. I think they're great. And then the next one comes, and it's just a bunch of wands, and they're really cool rainbow magical wands. That doesn't seem very evil now, does it? And then the third one comes, and it's ice cream, just infinite ice cream, and Jake eats it all and just becomes massively obese.
The evil sucking you in? Jake!
So, yeah, that doesn't seem very evil either, does it? So Finn and Jake just go to sleep thinking that the frog just made a mistake, and then they wake up to the pigs just wreaking havoc using the wands for villainous acts, destroying the town nearby and making everybody start to dance. Yeah, it turns out that the piggies were the evil ones. They were just pretending to be good to lower them into a false sense of confidence. And come on, adorably dressed little pigs. Top 10 Adventure Time villains. I wish they were like the main villain instead of Golb. Can you imagine instead of Golb coming out of that portal in season 10, it would just be a bunch of handsomely dressed pigs falling out of a portal? Yeah, that would have been hype. That would have had the same level of tension. I would have been all for it. Would have been hyped. Would have been great. But they start using ice cream to kill all the pigs because they remember that was their allergy, and so they start murdering them all. And I feel bad for this one scene where it's just this, I guess I shouldn't feel bad, but it's this construction worker pig, and he's going like, and he's apologizing, and then he tries to trick Finn, and Finn has to kill him anyway.
Jake?
Yeah, and that's the end of the piggies, and then Jake eats all the ice cream, and that's the entire episode. It's just a really great plot. They took a magic bean story and made it something new, something unique, and something very entertaining. I love the pigs. Pigs were great villains. I love the, constant threat of the beans, which one's going to be evil, and they just kept being nice and just lure you into a false sense of confidence. I enjoyed that a lot, and I think it makes for a really good episode. Oh, man. Where am I going to put this one, though? Above Slow Love, probably. Honestly, I like it more than It Came from the Nightosphere 2. The eyes, though, Ice King dressed as a horse. I think I'm gonna put it below the eyes. I don't think it is better in terms of comedy or anything like that. I just think it's a very solid episode of Adventure Time and very entertaining for the whole thing. So for now, it deserves the number 2 spot.
You more than anything, I don't need.
The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Guardians of Sunshine. And in this episode, Finn and Jake keep losing to this video game character called Sleepy Sam. He keeps destroying them every single time, so they go inside a BMO inside of the video game in order to confront Sleepy Sam and just beat the ever-living shit out of him and destroy him and prove that they could totally destroy him if he was in the real world. And I honestly think this episode is just a lot of fun. It may not be the most hilarious episode, but it's got a couple of moments that give me a really good laugh. I really like this one scene where they're initially just walking through the game and they smell a pit, and Jake's like, oh, this is gonna be easy to jump over. He jumps over and he just dies a fiery, burning death. And his response to this, when he comes back because he just wasted a life, he's like, dude, we got 2 lives. And Finn's like, oh yeah, we should totally save him. And then Jake just sprints off, jumps into the clip to die again.
You still have 2 left.
Ow! It burns! Ow!
Why? You even said it burned and it hurt, but he just wanted to do it again. What a guy. So yeah, they start to realize that the video game is actually really hard, especially in the game world. They're just not even remotely in their element. So they stretch across. They just keep meeting a bunch of different villains like Busy Bee and Honey Bunny and just start getting wrecked by them just nonstop because they're not what they thought they were going to be. Eventually, they do find Sleepy Sam, though, and Finn is slowly creeping up about to punch him, and he still can't do anything to Sleepy Sam. And so they got to run out of there, and the only way that they're able to escape the video game is to take the bomba, this thing that you're supposed to use to destroy the villains. They try to use it, but it breaks the game and sucks them out of it, but also sucks the villains out of the game. So everybody's out of the game now, and they all really want to kill BMO because BMO imprisoned them in there, which is some BMO lore that I would have loved to see. How did BMO do this? Why did BMO do this? Was there a reason? Was BMO just video game hungry? I have no idea, but they really want to kill BMO. They go out into the sunshine, and they're very happy about the sun, but they still want to kill BMO. They want to kill BMO so bad, so Finn has to do the ultimate power move in order to send them away forever and kill them all.
Left, down, spin, up, down, jump!
Yeah, that was okay. Pretty good ending to the episode. I enjoyed that. I think the entire video game world was really cool. I don't know if this was a guest animator. It didn't really feel like that. It felt like they just decided to do 3D models. It was still the same people. But either way, looked really good. I like this a lot more than the other different animation episodes like Bad Jubies or Water Park Prank. I think it's really good. I enjoy it. I like the video game concept. I think all the villains were really cool. The world was really cool. Finn and Jake suffering was really cool. There were a couple of really good moments. So I'd say this episode was pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and put it below Slow Love, but above To Cut a Woman's Hair. I don't really think it crosses the threshold of being amazing, but I think it's a really solid episode. The next episode is The Silent King, and this episode is also really solid. We get a pretty action-packed opening with Finn and Jake going up against Zergiok, the king of the goblins, who is just kind of a tyrant, and they overthrow him and make him vanish and leave. That was a pretty good opening to the episode, and then the kingdom is left without a king, so they want Finn to become the king, and they're very terrified of getting their asses slapped. Because Zergiok just loved to tap that sweet, succulent goblin booty, it was one of his greatest pastimes. I really like this montage that we get of him just going around slapping ass, especially this one scene which I think is really funny where he's just staring at the sunset, just going and then he just sprints and starts spanking. Yeah, what a guy. I would not want to be around this guy. He has something about him that is, not the most tasteful quality. So Finn agrees to become king, Jake will be queen, and Jake is just kind of vibing for the entire episode while Finn is dealing with being a king and not being allowed to do anything because the Royal Book of Rules basically just means that you become a vegetable and don't do anything at all. You can't eat your food, you can't brush your teeth, you can't go into battle, you can't stop criminals, you can't do anything. So Finn hates that. He feels useless, he doesn't like it, and that's when Zergiok shows up once again with an army of ear people, and so we get our introduction to the Jake-Su, baby! Because Finn can't go running as king because the goblin people don't allow it, and so when Jake-Su shows up, they start clapping, making loud noises because an army full of ears doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
I salute you, foolish warrior! You can be my personal slave!
And so Zergiok is defeated once again, and Whisper Dan becomes the new king of the goblins by wearing a little cardboard Finn head. Yeah, overall, pretty dang solid episode. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. The middle of it was kind of like lagging a little bit in interest. I mean, it was just kind of a bunch of scenes where Finn isn't allowed to do stuff, but I think it was still entertaining enough to make it a good episode. The ending was really solid. The beginning was very, very good. So I'd say, honestly, I'm going to put this one just right below It Came to the Nightosphere. I think that's a great spot for it.
I can be, but I don't think I
The next episode is The Real You, and I don't really care for this episode. I think it's just awfully boring. There's just not a whole lot going on. I do like one scene in it, though. The episode follows the premise of Princess Bubblegum having this scientific barbecue, and Finn wants to look really smart because he wants to relate to Princess Bubblegum because he wants Princess Bubblegum's cheeks so bad, and he wants to relate to her and appear smart. So the episode follows Finn trying to become smart. They go to the library. That doesn't work out. The one scene that I genuinely love in the episode is when Finn goes to worm college inside of an apple and sticks his hand in the apple, and the first scene you get of this is the worm teacher being all like, and when I meet the werewolf queen, she will induct me as the werewolf king, or something stupid like that.
And Mandroid. The answer is Werewolf Queen. It's always Werewolf Queen.
I thought that was really funny, and then the worms start attacking them because apparently Finn didn't show up for a single class, and that's truancy, and it hurts them all. I really love the scene with the worms. That's all you really need to get from that. It was great. Everything else is just okay. Finn gets these glasses that make him really smart, and so he goes there and he creates a bubble blower that is capable of blowing a new dimension, and creates the fourth dimension, which is only theoretical, and starts sucking everything into it and creates a black hole. And yeah, pretty much it. Princess Bubblegum looks at Finn, who is just so smart and only is considering the science of everything and not being a hero, and is like, "Oh, Finn! I need the real you, Finn." So Finn takes off the glasses, becomes stupid again, and uses Scarlet, his sword, pours it into the bubble blower, which becomes a fourth dimensional sword, and uses it on the black hole to stop the black hole. And that is when the first time that we lose one of Finn's swords. Pretty interesting fact. If you wanted to know why he stopped using the gold sword, it's because of this moment right here. It got turned 4D, baby. Yeah, it's an okay episode. No, it's not even okay. I really only like Worm College. Worm College was the only good part of the episode. The only part of the episode that I thought was really entertaining. In terms of ranking, that is the question, huh? That is the question. Honestly, probably below Blood Under Your Skin. I don't think it's very entertaining at all. I still think the entire Worm College segment is still better than Her Parents, though, so it's going above that. That's pretty much all I got to say about it. The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Death in Bloom, and God, do I love this episode. I love the concept, I love the journey, I think it's hilarious. Everything that happens in it is just so phenomenal. The episode follows the premise of Princess Bubblegum going to this conference with a bunch of, like, fruits. Yeah, that was kind of a weird aspect of the episode, but she's going away for a little while, and so she entrusts Finn and Jake to look after her most precious plant, but they end up killing it, and so they get some help from Peppermint Butler to go into the just death world in order to try to get the plant back from death. I really like this entire aspect. It's the first time that we get to see Peppermint Butler in, like, you know, his weird demonic cult ways and his dark magic ways. I enjoyed that. First time we get to see that, it was very entertaining. I like the jokes with it. And so they're in the dead world now. They run past this, like, giant bird. They just cut the line and sneak on in there. That was good. And then there's a bunch of, like, bone people, and I really like the tension here where they really just want that gooey flesh and they're trying to rip it off of Finn and Jake, so Finn and Jake now have to hide from everybody.
Do you guys think we're cool?
No, we're gonna rip that flesh off you and eat it.
Really good. I like the world building. I like the skeletons. They add a certain level of creepiness to the world, I guess. And Finn and Jake are just sitting there trying to, like, get a look at Death's castle. And this is probably the only time in a cartoon that I genuinely usually like a fart joke, is when it, like, the fart joke isn't the point of the entire joke. It's to, like, advance the plot in a meaningful way, and it's funny because of how the characters react to it, because they're just sitting up there, it's dead quiet, and then Jake rips some stanky ass, and then it just echoes everywhere, and all the skeletons start chasing them again.
Quiet. Jake.
I thought it would be funny.
And Finn even points out that that was stupid, and Jake's like, I thought it would be funny. Yeah, that's how you do a good fart joke. Instead of making stupid-ass toddler shows that just, like, oh man, he farted, and then it doesn't do anything to the plot, that's just the entire joke. No, I'm okay with butt humor when it's actually used in a decent way like this. I could actually laugh at this. It could give me a little bit of a smile. That's better than a lot of things in life. So they start running away, and they eventually reach this water. And there's this skull that's saying, drink the water. And Finn's obviously like, don't drink the water. And Jake's like, I'm thirsty, Finn. I'm thirsty. And the skull's like, don't drink the water. And so Jake jumps in either way, and he just becomes, like, forgotten. He forgets everything in his life.
Jake? Why are you making stupid face?
Who's Jake?
Dang it, I knew that water was junk.
He forgets who Jake is, he forgets who Finn is, and Finn just starts dragging him away. Thought that was a great scene.
Help! Somebody!
Really funny. Enjoyed that a lot. And then they eventually do reach Death's castle. And they're like, Death, my man, give this planet's soul back and give my friend his memory back. And Death is like, no, unless you could beat me in a rock star music battle. And so Finn uses a tambourine, and Death, like, plays this ultimate death metal, like, drum set, awesome set thing. That was great. I enjoyed that. Finn obviously loses because Jake is obviously not going to choose his kidnapper. So yeah, and then Finn is all like, before you kill me, Peppermint Butler says hi. And then Death is like, you know Peppermint Butler? Oh my god! And he just gets so hyped, which again adds more lore to Peppermint Butler and more interest into his character. I wish they explored that more than, the Wizard City in Distant Lands. I wish we explored Peppermint Butler before, you know, he got turned back into a baby. But either way, he, gives the planet's soul back, and he also just smooches Jake on the mouth and gives him his memories back.
What are you doing?
Good stuff. Kiss of death, baby. Ultimately, very good episode. I love the entire Death Realm. I like that it gets expanded in later seasons, especially in Distant Lands Together again. Overall, very enjoyable. I think this is probably one of my favorites in the entire season. I think I'm going to put it above The Eyes. I think this is going at number 1. It's just such a solid, good episode. It's entertaining for all 11 minutes. It makes me laugh a few times. That's all I really need when I'm watching a cartoon. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be high up there.
I'd like your flesh.
Quit being silly, Peppermint Butler.
I'm going to take it from you.
And autumn comes when you're not.
The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Susan Strong. You turn my heart on. Yeah, this episode is the introduction to Susan, and I honestly forget that Susan was introduced so early into the series, and Finn and Jake are just exploring like these underground sewers, and they find a bunch of people who are wearing animal masks, and Finn is all like, these must be the humans, oh my god! So he befriends Susan, just this really strong woman, and takes her up and starts trying to teach her everything about the world, and she's very skittish and afraid of everything, but she slowly is beginning to develop confidence in everything the further they are in the world. I really like this one scene where they're just all around a campfire. This little beaver shows up and he wants some marshmallow, so Finn gives him some marshmallow.
Hey! See?
I don't know why. I like that scene. And then Finn sings a song to Susan, gives her some marshmallows. It's just feeling really wholesome for like the first 8 minutes. And then they go to the Candy Kingdom and Susan learns that everything is made of candy there. So she's like, reasonably, oh wow, I'm gonna go and get all my friends and we're gonna eat the entire Candy Kingdom and everybody there because they're made of candy. Finn doesn't like this, but she runs away anyway, goes and gets all of her people, so they have to try and scare them. They try a bunch of shadow monsters and nothing's really working, so fire is eventually what scares them and gets them all to run away because the marshmallow kids light themselves on fire and just start sprinting at them. That was pretty wild. And they all take off their masks and it's revealed that they're fish people except for Susan.
Susan, what are you?
She doesn't take off her mask at all, which just begs you to wonder and to question, is she a human? Is Finn the only human in the world? We won't know, and we don't know for a while, but I like that they're just establishing the basis of the lore for the show, even in season 2, and it builds like a lot of questions, like will Susan come back? I mean, she's obviously going to come back because you want to know if she's a human or not. How will she come back? What is her next episode going to be? I enjoy that aspect of it, just slowly building a good story, even in season 2 when it's still like nonsensical. There's just a bunch of random adventures kind of all conjoined in a way, but not necessarily. I like that. I enjoyed it. I think this episode was pretty good for the most part. I think the beginning of it is just a lot of wholesome fun, and the finale was pretty, like, you know, worrisome, action-packed a little bit with the people about to come and eat everybody. I like all the scenes with that, so I'd say it's a pretty decent episode. I don't think it really goes up to amazing, but I'd say it's probably just right below Loyalty to the King. I think it's pretty solid, good introduction for Susan, and all of the aspects that we're going to see of her character further on. The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Mystery Train. Again, one of my favorites from the season. It's just so cool. Everybody likes a good little mystery, a good little bit of fun. And it's Jake taking Finn on his birthday extravaganza, and they have to go on a train to get there. And that's when we get introduced to the conductor, and I think he's a great villain, a great presence for this episode. He's like, happy birthday, Finn.
Climb aboard my train, little boy. You're my new friend.
He just has a very weird, like, vibe to him, a very weird essence, and he gives off, like, I'm a very creepy guy, I'm obviously going to murder people kind of vibe, but they go along with it, and people start to die on the train.
I'm gonna kill you.
And Finn is starting to like try to solve this mystery, but every time he gets a hunch, every time he points a finger, they also die. The lights just go out, and Finn has no idea what's going on. I really like the mystery level of this episode because just you're going along with Finn, and you obviously think it's the conductor, but it's still nice to hear Finn like try to uncover everything, try to determine everything. I think it's very enjoyable. I like it. I like it a lot. And then eventually he has everybody in the same room and they all die at the same exact time. Even Jake dies and Finn just loses it. That's when the conductor shows up and we get this pretty cool brawl between the conductor and Finn.
This is for Jake!
I actually like the fight a lot, with the conductor being on a skateboard, just chasing them down, just fighting on the roof. I enjoy it. I think it's a great fight. And when Finn is about to just like kill him, saying, "Happy birthday to me," yeah, kind of gruesome in a way, that's when he stretches and it's revealed to actually be Jake in disguise.
Happy birthday to me!
Wait!
And this was the entire birthday gift, this entire mystery, this entire fight. One of the coolest gifts to give to a kid who genuinely just wants to fight things and solve mysteries. I love it. That's some brotherly love right there. And Jake explains how he did all of this, and I just enjoy the explanation where he had to go and like paint his body every time he wanted to do something. He would just stretch away, he would cut off the lights, he would do all this weird stuff. Yeah, that was some good stuff. I thought it was a very good episode. Love the mystery, love the action, love the reveal. Very solid. I'm going to go ahead and put this one above, honestly, above the eyes. This is going at number 2. I don't think it's better than Death and Bloom, but I still think it's a very, very good episode. I enjoyed every single aspect of it.
I don't think I could stand to.
The next episode that I'm going to be taking a look at is Go With Me, and this is another episode that, again, I don't really care for. It's just kind of whatever. The episode follows the fact that Finn has to go to the movies, or he really wants to go to the movies, but you need a date to the movies, or you can't go because it's the romance movie. And so he's trying to ask out Princess Bubblegum, and Marceline is trying to help him, and they try a bunch of different things, like wrestling Princess Bubblegum, like literally jumping on her and attacking her. He unleashes wolves into her room after he runs around with Marceline like a wolf. Yeah, that was pretty weird scenes, and he eventually realizes that he should just ask Marceline to the movie because he's been having a good time with her the entire time. So he goes to her house, and Marceline does not want to date Finn, so she tries to look really grotesque, and Finn is just like, "I don't want to date you. I just want to go to the movies." Why don't you like Marceline instead of the Princess Bubblegum dude? That's a way better catch. I would have much rather preferred Finn to obsess over Marceline instead of Princess Bubblegum because it makes more sense. No, it doesn't. None of it makes sense. He should have just not had a romance until like FP. That would have made a lot more sense. But either way, they just go as friends, good stuff, and they just end up leaving and unleashing the wolves again and acting like freaks there. It's okay. I wouldn't really say it's a very good episode. None of the scenes really make me laugh. Maybe it would have been funnier to me when I was 10 years old. Probably, it probably was. But I don't really care for this one a lot. I'm gonna honestly just rank it below, probably below The Real You. I think that's a fine spot for it. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is Belly of the Beast, and in this episode, Finn and Jake hear some screams inside of a monster's belly, so they have to go inside of the monster and try to save whoever is struggling in there. And they find this ultimate party of all these bears! Bears just dancing left and right, having a great time inside of a monster's belly. Yeah, and so they have to go around and try to convince everybody that they're inside of a monster's belly, and nobody really seems to care. I really like Cubby, though, just this like little baby bear that comes over and is like, I know we're in a monster's belly. You gotta talk to Party Pete. That was the wrong motion to be doing. I'm not jorking it. You gotta talk to Party Pete.
I'm Cubby.
Hi, Cubby. What's going on?
I heard what you said about this being a monster's belly.
And so they go to find Party Pete, and the only way Party Pete will talk to them is if they are able to compete with Party Pete and just party it up. So they just partied up. They sing, "Bears, we're never gonna run from the fun because we're bears, 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 bears." Yeah. I think all the party stuff is really great. I think it's hilarious. And then eventually Party Pete confesses that, yeah, we're in a monster's belly. We know. It's just too good. We just like partying in here way too much. And so Finn and Jake seem like they're going to give up, but they have one final solution. And this is where it gets really quotable for me, because Finn and Jake go back down there and they start singing a song about food and how it goes to the digestive tract. My hot dog's dead. My cupcake's dead. My milkshake is dead.
My cupcake is dead.
Oh, my donut's dead.
I find myself singing that sometimes just out of the blue when I like just ate something or when I had just like finished eating something. I don't know why, but it's always stuck with me. It's like a core memory to just randomly start singing that song if I ever finish some food. I just think it's funny. and it eventually convinces them all to get out of here because they're going to be like melted by lava because the monster's about to drink a volcano. Yeah, it's very random. It's a lot of random nonsense, but it works for me. So they start running. I think they run out of his asshole, if I'm correct in my memory. I don't know, that's the struggle of not writing things down and not having a photographic ape-like memory. But hey, so they run, they all escape, and then Party Pete is like, no! We need that monster's belly was the ultimate party cave. So they ask the monster to eat them again, and they start partying again.
Gentle lasers.
Yeah, that was good. It was good stuff. Good episode. I thought it was hilarious. Thought the concept was really funny. The ending was really funny. Also had a lot of tension to it. Makes for pretty entertaining. So I'm honestly gonna put this one probably right above Slow Love. I think that's a great spot for Belly of the Beast. The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is The Limit, and in this episode, Finn and Jake are going to rescue some hot dog knights from this maze, and it turns out at the end of this maze, you can get a wish granted, but you have to get all the way there. So they find the hot dog knights, and the hot dog knights are all like, Jake, 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 to get Finn and Jake to go on this mystical adventure through the maze and keep Jake stretching the entire time so that they could find their way back and backtrack the maze if they need to. And this is just basically a Jake suffering torture episode, but I think all the concepts in it are really funny, which makes it at least a little bit more entertaining because, again, I'm not really a big fan of characters being tortured for 11 minutes, but in this case, it was pretty funny, especially just watching Jake stretch through all of these crazy scenarios. Like, he has to block some scorpions from coming out, and he just gets stabbed a bunch. He just keeps on going, keeps on pressing.
Boop, 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 boop. Stop, man!
He gets crushed by a rock. He keeps on just like forming all these different amalgamations. I think it's good stuff. I think it's hilarious. Little hot dog knights just shouting Jake, Jake, Jake are a very good sidecast for the episode because they're so dumb, but they're so funny at the same time. They eventually get all the way to the end of the maze, and Jake is literally just husk of himself. He's just this tiny little finger-sized Jake, and they're so close, and the only way that Jake could ever save Finn is to get that wish and get all the way to the other side. So he gets Jake to say, Jake, 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 and Jake carries everybody across one more time, gets to this weird little eel guy who is trying to offer wishes, and all the hot dogs guys just make really stupid wishes, but I think it's so funny. Like, one of them just wishes to get big, and then he blows up. He says, I want to blow up. I mean, like, get big. And then he just explodes.
Sweet! I wish to blow up. I mean, like, get big.
Thought that was really funny. Finn wants to wish to save Jake's life, but Jake tells Finn to wish for the ancient psychic tandem war elephant. And Finn's all like, well, wish to save yourself. And Jake's like, okay, I wish for a sandwich. He just starts eating the sandwich.
I wish I wasn't so hungry.
And so Finn wishes for the ancient psychic tandem war elephant. He soul bonds with it, connects with it, and is able to save Jake because the ancient psychic tandem war elephant can do anything. Overall, pretty hilarious episode. Good stuff. I thought it was really entertaining for the entire thing. Everything in the maze was really wonky and wild to watch, but I thought it was all entertaining. Jake stretching to his limit, even though it looks like he's suffering, was also really funny, so that was good. And the ending, pretty good. I like the ancient psychic tandem war elephant a lot. I think the hot dog guys were great. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this episode just right above the pods. I think this is a great episode. Deserves that number 4 spot for right now. The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Videomakers, and this one is kind of forgettable to me. Out of all the episodes in Season 2, I usually remember this one at least, except for just one quote. Check, please. That's all I tend to usually remember from this episode, but upon rewatch, I think it's actually a lot better than I remember. I can look back on it a little more fondly. The episode follows just everybody trying to have a movie night, but at the beginning of this episode, you know how in front of every movie, or old movies, I guess still every movie, there's like that little thing about the Copyright Act, it appears, which is kind of relatable because as a kid, if I saw that appear on a movie, I would usually be like, am I breaking the law? Am I breaking the law? Yeah, that was my initial thought process when that would approach because, you know, 4-year-old brain, you can't read, and I just became sentient, so how am I supposed to understand this? So yeah, they get pretty worried, so they decide that they're going to try to create their own movie, and Finn and Jake just have very differing opinions on the kind of movie that they want to make. So they just keep clashing, trying to film everything, but nothing's really coming cohesive. Jake wants to make a romantic comedy, and Finn wants to make a action thriller. So Finn is having this one scene, this is kind of the most memorable scene, at least to me, where Slime Princess is supposed to jump down into like this cliff drive into the water, and she's supposed to swing on this rope and survive and avoid all the alligators, and she just jumps and dives straight into the alligators and just starts passionately kissing one. That was pretty wild. I thought that was funny. Everything else is just a lot of Finn and Jake arguing. Check, please.
And then Shelby, you say,
check, please.
Yeah, just stuff like that. And then the end, I will say that the ending is really wholesome, with BMO creating his own video to say, Finn and Jake, this could be the end. Romance or action does not matter. Hurting your friends will make you sadder. Yeah, and so the song makes them come back together and realize the important thing was just to hang out and have a movie night. So pretty wholesome ending. I enjoyed it. I think everything leading up to that was pretty okay. Some of the scenes are pretty forgettable, but for the most part, I'd say it's a pretty entertaining episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this just right below Loyalty to the King, just kind of middle of the road for me, but I wouldn't call it a bad episode. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is Heat Signature, and I am not a fan of this episode. It just kind of feels like a torture episode, but not in a good way, not in a funny way. The episode revolves around the premise of Finn and Jake being turned into vampires by a ghost and Marceline, by these ghost groups, and they're trying to like trick them and prank them into thinking that they're actually vampires, so they go around doing a bunch of vampire things, like pretending that they're invisible, but all they do is harass LSP, and LSP would be a character that deserves it, but I just feel kind of bad for her because she's homeless living in the woods, and they spill over her beans. And yeah, it could make me laugh like one time because she goes, "My beans!" I thought that was funny, but everything else just kind of feels like unnecessary torture, at least to me. And then they push them off a cliff and make them think they're gonna die. Marceline has to save them. There's a trial where they literally just start beating the absolute shit out of Finn and Jake. It just doesn't feel like good torture. It just feels like not funny douchebag humor. Not really a fan of it personally. Personally, not my cup of tea. Not what I want to see today. No, it's not. So then they go to like this house, and they're gonna try and suck Finn and Jake's brains out, because that's what they want to do. They want to eat their souls, and then they reveal that they have the movie Heat Signature, so they no longer want to suck their souls, and then they go and watch Heat Signature. Kind of just whatever, just a torture episode, kind of boring, not really a fan of it. Could be somebody else's cup of tea. If you find it funny, I won't talk poorly of you. I think certain people would find this funny and certain people wouldn't find this funny, and I'm one of the people that doesn't find it funny. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one. I'm thinking right below. Go With Me. I think it's better. No, I don't know. This is a struggle. I'm honestly gonna put it below Her Parents. I think that's a fine spot for it. I'm not really into the torture, mate. I'm not really into it. It doesn't really tickle my crumpet at all. So, yeah, bad episode. It's whatever. The next episode we're going to be taking a look at is Mortal Folley, our first two-part episode. Well, Mortal Recoil is the one we're going to be looking at right after this, but they're back-to-back, and that has not happened in Adventure Time so far, so huzzah, get excited! And Mortal Folley is a very good episode. It's our first introduction into the Lich, which is by far Adventure Time's greatest villain, the greatest thing that they've ever produced. God, the Lich is just so cool. Princess Bubblegum, Finn, and Jake all go to the top of the tree to look at the Lich and make sure everything is okay and make sure that he is still contained. But it turns out that there is a little snail inside of Finn's backpack. The Lich hijacks his mind, and he opens the Lich's like little honey sap thing, and the Lich is free and starts running to his well of power. So the episode just immediately starts off being a banger. You have a great threat, one of the most real threats in the entire series compared to everything else that we had seen thus far, which gets you excited for the episode. I enjoy it. Princess Bubblegum gives Finn Billy's gauntlet to go and try to fight the Lich, and a little sweater because the Lich's lair is going to be cold, and so they start giving chase. At the same time, Ice King shows up and kidnaps Princess Bubblegum because he just wants her so bad. I think that's really funny. Ice King does show up later in the episode when Finn and Jake are just running, trying to get the Lich, and it's just like, guys, look, give me her blessing. I wrote her name all over my body, which is very weird, very creepy, but in a way funny, I guess.
Arms and legs. Guys.
I don't know. Finn and Jake just continue their chase of the Lich, while the Ice King is just trying to get the blessing from Finn and Jake at the same time, and they eventually almost catch him, but he just keeps on getting away. He eventually gets all the way to his well of power. They have to go in there, try to stop him, which leads to them like falling, fire being thrown at them. Finn's necklace breaks, and the Lich starts invading into his mind, and God, I love Ron Perlman's voice for the Lich. There could not have been a better casting. Nobody just gets that aura, I guess. I don't know the right word. Just the essence of the Lich better than Ron Perlman just voicing the Lich. It's so good as, walk closer, child. Walk into the well. Aren't you cold, Finn?
Too cold, Finn. Walk into the well, Finn.
And Finn is able to overcome it because of his power of love for Princess Bubblegum, and he's able to fight and defeat the Lich in a very anticlimactic way using the power of love. I don't know if it's like canonically like Finn beat him using just the sweater, or the power of love was actually able to overcome the power of the Lich, and that's how he was able to do it. I don't know. It's kind of a weird line because I feel like the Lich would want this to happen so that he could take over Princess Bubblegum's body, but I don't know. Ice King shows up holding Princess Bubblegum, and he's so moved by this whole experience that he's like, oh, I love you, but I'm going to let you go.
Go free.
When he just drops Princess Bubblegum into the Lich's well of power, which leads us into our next episode. But Mortal Folly, all on its own, still really solid. The Ice King moments is really where the comedy comes in, I feel like, in the episode, but the Lich is definitely just going to make this episode go way higher than a lot of other ones because he's just such a cool villain. The concept is so cool. The fight at the end, even though it was with a sweater, the attention, all of that was also really interesting. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this, probably above The Eyes but below Mystery Train. I still think Mystery Train and Death and Bloom are like just the essence of Adventure Time that I love so much, so it's gonna go below that. But as like a lore heavy action packed episode, I still think it's very good. Mortal Folly is going to go at the number 3 spot. And then the final episode of Season 2 is Mortal Recoil, and I think by far, this episode even tops Mortal Folly in just being hilarious while also creepy, while also just so interesting with the entire plot that's going on. I love it. It immediately follows up with Princess Bubblegum just being in the ICU after being dropped into the Well of Power, and she's just on the verge of death, and Ice King is just trying to say that he saw something strange when she came out of the Well of Power. He wants to describe it, but Finn is like, get out of here, old head, old ass, unk, like the kids would say. I hate modern lingo. I hate it so much. But either way, Ice King's an unk. So stupid. But Ice King's very old, and he doesn't even pay attention to the fact that everybody really wants him to leave. He just gets really heartbroken because everybody thinks that he's an old man.
Out. Nobody wants to see this old skin, I guess. Nobody in the world.
I thought that was really funny. I like that a lot. And then the episode just continues with Princess Bubblegum laying in bed, and Finn is just told to go and get a bunch of stuff, so he leaves the room for a second, and Jake is just trying to cheer her up, playing some stuff on the bongos, and she starts contorting and freaking out and everything.
Dance.
It's just not working even remotely, and she lights everything on fire. She's freaking out. Yeah. Very creepy stuff, but I still enjoy it. It's keeping me very intrigued. Jake runs out of the room. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Jake runs out of the room, and he sees Finn, and Finn is holding like gasoline, lighter fluid, lots of chemicals, and Jake's like, what is all that stuff? And he's like, I don't know, lady stuff. And just ignores Jake, walks back into the room, gives it all to Princess Bubblegum, and Princess Bubblegum starts using all these weird things to create a weird contraction and starts drinking from it, turning into this like the black, horrendous, like this charred monster, and just starts growing. And it's revealed that Princess Bubblegum was invaded by the Lich and was taken over by the Lich, and just grows and starts wreaking havoc to the entire Candy Kingdom. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Finn tries to fight her using the power of love and is immediately overwhelmed and just beaten to a pulp. But then we get Ice King's redemption, which I like a lot, where Ice King comes to try to help everybody and freezes Princess Bubblegum in order to stop her and ends up saving the day. She tips over and we get another scene with the hospital where it's revealed that she is now 13 years old. And I really like the scene so much where Ice King, no matter how much of a villain he is, no matter how much of a horrible person he is not willing to be a predator.
She's 13 years old now.
Oh, dang it. Well, I'm out of here.
Yeah. He hears the age of Princess Bubblegum and he's like, all right, I'm out of here. Leaves. Good on you, man. And then that leads to obviously the potential that Finn can date Princess Bubblegum, which has some intrigue for the next season. So yeah, good stuff. I think it's a great episode. I think all of the build-up before that like super ultimate final battle against the super mega version of Princess Bubblegum / the Lich was really good. That fight on its own, really good. But everything with Jake is really where the episode got super funny, where he's like playing his ass bongos and then she starts contorting and stuff. I thought that stuff was funny, also interesting and intriguing and creepy in a way. There's just so many different elements of this episode that make it good and make it memorable and one of the best in the season. So I'm going to go ahead and put Mortal Recoil just right above Mortal Folley. I still don't think it's better than Mystery Train or Death and Bloom, but I still think it's a very good episode. I think it's very good. So number 3 spot for Mortal Recoil.
I don't know where to put my hands.
Overall, I think this season is actually really good. I think it's a lot better than season 1. We got a lot more stuff with a bunch of different characters, explored a bunch of really new stories that really helped it feel like Adventure Time to me. I feel like once you get to season 4, season 5, and just thereon, it gets really lore heavy, like very much like every single episode is a brand new story expanding another character's backstory. But I really like the beginning of Adventure Time, where it's just like these self-contained stories but still have an importance to the characters and an importance to the world, and it just feels nostalgic to me, I guess. I don't know, like, let me count how many episodes I genuinely think I really dislike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honestly, only 5. Okay, so 5 out of 26. Okay, so that means I like 21 out of 26. That's still a pretty goddamn good rating, okay? That's pretty dang snazzy if you ask me. I think that's a great season. I think it was really good. Better than season 1. Had a lot of elements that I liked, explored a lot of good characters, and is overall just a very good time. I definitely recommend just going back and rewatching this season, especially if you haven't watched Adventure Time or if you haven't watched Adventure Time in a while. I still think it's very worth it, and it was a lot of fun getting to explore the season again, and I look forward for all the other season rankings that I'm going to get to do. And again, if you like videos just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. I make content like this almost every single day about a bunch of different shows, mainly regular show, but I'm hoping to expand a lot more. To be honest with you, the reason I don't expand a lot more is because I genuinely just have to sit here and do nothing or watch a bunch of episodes that I've already seen a million times while I record the episodes so that I could have footage for the show while I make the videos. And that is a very long process with a bunch of different shows, but I'm hoping to expand, and once I have a lot more shows on my computer, then I can make a lot more stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.